Hey guys, these are 3 common mistakes people typically make when they're trying to diet and lose weight. So make sure you're not doing these things and you're going to have a much better time sticking to your diet and reaching your goals. Okay, mistake number 1, and that's got to be not tracking key metrics. Now, what are key metrics when it comes to dieting? Well, it would be your weight, your calorie consumption, and your energy expenditure. People might say, oh, I weigh myself a couple of times a week. No, that's not enough. You need to weigh yourself every day, Monday to Sunday, and then take an average to get your weight and then track that over time. The reason you want to weigh yourself every day and then take an average is because some days you might eat a little bit more and you might eat more salt or sodium, and that might make you store a little bit more water weight, which will skew the scale, and it can be quite disheartening. So if you're averaging everything out, then it's a lot better psychologically, and you're going to get a much clearer vision as to what's going on over a prolonged diet. Something else to add about weighing yourself is try and make it so the conditions are the same every single day. So there's no point weighing yourself in the morning one day and then the next day weighing yourself at night when you've got a full stomach. There's no point. You want to try and keep the variables as close as possible. So what I'd recommend is weigh yourself in the morning, first thing, after urination. This is going to give you the clearest picture possible as to your true body weight. Okay, the second key metric is your calorie intake. This is super important because if you don't know how much you're eating, then you don't know whether you're in a deficit or not. And we know that being in a calorie deficit is how you lose body fat. There's no other way around it. It's the laws of thermodynamics. If you're just winging it, you might be in a deficit one day, then a surplus the next day, and there's no point. So you need to be tracking them calories. It can be a bit of a pain to begin with, but you can use an app like MyFitnessPal, or even just use the calculator on your phone. Look at the ingredients, add it up, and then put that into the calculator. What you can do if you make the same meals is just calculate it once, and then you know, okay, boom, rice and turkey is 650 calories, so you can just put that straight in the calculator. Another thing you'll find that over time, as you do more and more dieting and track food and all that sort of thing, is you get to the point where you can just like look at a piece of food and be like, right, that's 550 calories and 45 grams of protein. And you will get there eventually. You will get to that point if you do this long enough. But for now, if you're a beginner and you're trying to lose weight, you need to be tracking everything. Okay, the final metric that needs to be tracked is your energy expenditure. It's all well and good weighing yourself and tracking how much you eat, but how much calories are you spending every day? And for some people, it might not be much, especially if, for example, you have an office job, you drive home, and then you eat some food, then you drive to the gym, then drive back home. That's probably not that much. But if you walk a lot, if you do like 10,000 steps a day, that's probably like 250 to 300 calories worth of walking that you've just done. So that needs to be taken into account. As well, if you've got a physical job, like you do a lot of walking or manual labor, if you're a construction worker, all of these things will be adding to your energy expenditure. So you need to take that into account for sure. What I'd recommend is tracking steps. So track how much you're walking. You can use, there's apps for it. You can use one of the Apple Watches. I've just got a step counter app on my phone. And then I use that to work out how much calories I'm spending. Just a note on this final one is you can't get an exact number of how many calories you're burning. Unlike your weight where you can get a direct reading, you can relatively calculate how many calories you're eating. But for energy expenditure, you might be off, you might overshoot it, you might undershoot it, but having a rough idea is worth it for sure. So that's it for the first one. Tracking key metrics, make sure you do that. You can use a spreadsheet for it. I like to use a spreadsheet, and I've linked one down below on my blog that you can download. It tracks your calories, your weight, your energy expenditure. So if you can't be bothered to make your own, use that one. It's free. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. So that's number one, track those key metrics. Okay, number two then, and that is cutting calories way too aggressively. Now, a lot of people come into a diet really, really enthusiastically, which is great. That's super commendable and super good that they're motivated to make a change. They want to get into shape, they want to change their lives. But they come in like a bat out of hell, go into like a 1,000 plus calorie deficit, and guess what happens? 2 weeks later, they've burnt out, they've been hit with massive food cravings, the metabolism's gone to shit, and they get back to their old ways and the diet doesn't happen. Make sure that isn't you. What I would recommend is a more conservative approach. Maybe aim for 10 to 20% reduction in calories. So for example, if your maintenance is 2,500 calories, aim to reduce that by about 250 to 500 calories. 500 being on the high end, 250 being on the low end. That's going to be much, much more sustainable. So it's going to be much more sustainable, and most importantly, you're still going to feel good. When you go into crazy, crazy deficits, your mood is affected, your sleep's affected, even your libido's affected, you're tired all the time, you've got no energy, your gym performance sucks, and then you're at risk to start losing muscle. So all of these things, it's not worth it to just try and speed the diet up a little bit more. Take a more conservative approach. 10 to 20% reduction from your maintenance calories. That's going to keep you going at a good pace and keep you feeling good along the way. There's also something to be said about squeezing every inch of fat loss out of the calories that you're on. So if you started with a 10% reduction in calories from your maintenance, just stay with that until your weight loss stops, and then do another 250 reduction. All right, then that's number two. Don't cut your calories too aggressively. All right, finally, number three, that is continuing to buy bad food. A lot of people claim to be serious about dieting, but they're still buying biscuits, they're still buying frozen pizza. It's no good. Like, why do that to yourself? You want to give yourself every opportunity that you can to succeed. Imagine these two scenarios. Scenario A, you bought junk food, you were naughty, you bought junk food last time you went shopping and you left it in the kitchen cabinet. Okay, that's the first scenario. Scenario B, you didn't buy the junk food and the nearest shop is 15 minutes away. It should be obvious which of those is more conducive to a successful diet, because when those cravings come and knock in, and believe me, they will, they might not initially, but they will as you continue further and further into the diet, and you've got junk food in the house, it's going to be so much harder. You're just making it so much harder for yourself. You're playing with fire at that point. But why even put yourself in that position, you know? All I can say is I hope you have good willpower, because you're going to need it. If you know that you physically have to leave your house to get junk food, it's going to create like a stopgap for you to snap out of it and come back to your senses and remember, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, I'm on a diet. And to be fair as well, when you get weeks into a diet, you kind of forget what the junk food tastes like anyway, so you stop craving it. You'll be so hungry that you're going to be grateful for those unflavored rice cakes and those eggs and the chicken and rice. You've forgotten what pizza tastes like. You've forgotten what chocolate tastes like, and that's good. Let it be forgotten. Reach your goals. Let that stuff be forgotten for now. Something that can help with this is just make a shopping list. Make a shopping list and make a pact to yourself that you're only going to buy what's on the list, and then you're going to leave. Seriously, I want you to be like a machine, like a robot. Just, okay, potatoes, pick up the potatoes, put them in the trolley. Don't be distracted by those Doritos that are on offer, you know, eyes forward. But yeah, make a shopping list. Just get what's on the list and then leave. It's easy to say, but it's hard to do. Anyway, to recap. Number 1, track key metrics. Weight, calories, energy expenditure. Number 2, don't cut calories too aggressively. Although it's tempting, I know, the more conservative approach is going to be better in 99% of cases. And number 3, stop buying bad food. Because if you don't buy it, guess what? You can't eat it. All right, I hope this helps. Make sure you avoid these and your dieting aspirations are going to go a lot better. That's it for this one. Check out my blog, enhancedplayer.com, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.